That fourth turn, but Robbins again gets the bite. So Steve Robbins can pull going down the straightaways with no problem, and Mark Charnish has to try and catch him. If he's going to do it, it's going to be going into either the first or third turn. So that's your battle up front right now, is they've got 2 laps in and down the back chute. So here's the spot where Mark Charnish makes up the difference right here as he goes into that turn. He keeps the number 12 low, cranks her sideways. But again, Robbins has got the power he needs to come off that straightaway, and down he goes as Mulligan. The mud showing in the dents on that number 94, and looks like the 24, or 241 rather. Dennis Bernard, he's got himself some smoke coming out. So Charnish has now made the move in the inside going down the back straightaway, and Mark Charnish at number 12 with a hood flapping down the back chute into the third turn. He sets her sideways, and now he's got a clear track so he can set any groove he wants. Steve Robbins continues in second, and Mulligan is now hanging on, lost third spot to Joe Faraday. Mulligan gets a little bit sideways, now has Steve Collins on his rear bumper. So Mulligan has dropped from third back to fourth. And now the battle back from fourth and fifth between the 94 of Mulligan and the 31S of Steve Collins. And way out front, clear sailing ahead. Out of that fourth turn, dialed in real well, it's Mark Charnish. And there's the battle for Robbins and Joe Faraday now in the 33. He comes up as we see Mulligan get a little sideways, and boy, he brought that car right down through traffic and never touched anybody, and it's not too often you see that happen. But Greg Mulligan took a little bit of a loop, and now he's trying to fight that car, get it turned around real quick, and get going. So he dropped from fourth way back to last spot as Charnish comes off of that fourth turn. And here he comes. He's going to take the checkered flag, so it's going to be Mark Charnish, the winner of the first amateur heat. Coming into second, holding on, is Steve Robbins in the 117. Joe Faraday's going to finish third. And rounding out the top 4 is going to be the number 31S, Steve Collins. So that's your top 4 of this first amateur heat. Good race. As Mark Charnish in the number 12 had to work a little bit in order to get out in the lead, but it took him 2 or 3 laps, and once he got there, he was really on a roll. So he has that number 12 set up well. As you can see, our starter, Barry Davison, has that winter jacket on. Really a nice night. A little bit of windy, but not a bad night at all. Originally, this was supposed to be the last night of racing here at Merrittville, the 17th of September, but we're going to have 2 more shows right up until October for you. Bringing cars out, so there's a lot of popularity in the sport. As we see one of the utility trucks pulling to the infield, and everybody comes down. They're going to get one more time around before they get the flag, as we see the 24 bring up the tail of the field. As we said earlier, Dale Cooley in the number 27 outside, up high in the first turn. He would have had a lock in the points championship, but he missed 6 shows, and that really hurt. And even missing the 6th, he still finished second in points. As Kevin Redshaw in the 7K, he paces the field. They were working hard on that car before the races started tonight. We were over in the pits for a minute taking a look at it, and they were working like crazy trying to get that car running, and they've got it going now, so he's got the pole position. But on the outside, he's got the 19, Chris Johnson, and Chris has been running strong, and now we've got the green, so we're underway. Chris Johnson in the 19 wastes no time, and he takes off. And he's got Dale Cooley right behind him, so a real strong runner in that second spot. But Chris Johnson seems to have everything in control. In fact, Bob Linston puts a fender up inside the 27, but drops back to third. So Cooley really on a roll down the back straightaway in second spot's got about 2 car lengths to catch up to the leader. Cooley sets it sideways off the fourth turn, but it has to drop a little bit low. He got too much sideways in at that time and ended up down in the inner lane. So again, in the first turn, Dale Cooley throws that Chevelle into the turn, and now he's got a wheel underneath Chris Johnson, but Johnson pulls him out of the second turn and down the back straightaway. So it's handling versus power, the top 2 cars. As they start to come to traffic, we see Bob Linston now, and Bob is running in third. So Dale Cooley tries the low road under traffic, but Chris Johnson goes high. It's the quicker way, and Johnson stays out in front. Lindstrom gets around traffic, so now he's third. So your top 3 cars are running in that order. As the sheet metal looks a little bit ended up as Dave Van Millen, the 11D, goes into the first turn, but down the back straightaway into the third turn. Chris Johnson with 2 laps in, he's going to come around, complete the third lap, as we've got one car that decided to pull off the track and is trying to get back on again. Linston gets a little bit high. This could be a ride for the driver off the 4th turn and into the wall. So Bob Linston had a good ride going for a while in the 82 and ended up into the wall. Last week that car was driven by Del Patrick and it ended up in the same spot. So I think when they get that back to the pits, they're going to take a look for the big magnet from that 4th turn. So we can see Chris Johnson suffers a little bit of handling problem in that 4th turn. The front end plows. They've got the yellow flag out to drag race to the start-finish line, and it looks like a dead heat between Chris Johnson, Dale Cooley, so they'll have to line them back up. Scores are going to have the work cut out figuring this one out as we wait with the number 82 sitting up against the wall yet in the 4th turn. But you can see by the 77 that by this time of year some of the iron gets kind of tired. And there's a shot, the driver waiting inside the 82 for the tow truck. As the crew runs over, some of the safety crew here at the Speedway, throughout the infield you'll find the safety crew, and they all have 2-way radios wired up here to the race director, Bob St. Amand Jr. And they're in communication all the time to make sure that everybody's safe. And no problem, as we've got some cars still sliding up in the 4th turn, but everybody's straight around. So they're going to line up and go around a couple times. Chris Johnson's going to be out in front in 19, followed by Dale Cooley and Kevin Redshaw in a 7K, and that's the way they're going to restart this race. So it'll take them a couple laps to get that 82 off the wall. So we can see and there's a good shot of our starter, Barry Davidson, who week in and week out comes to all the racetracks, waves a flag, and makes sure that everybody does what they're supposed to do. Keeps the drivers in line, doesn't let them get away with anything. It's a tough job. Through the week, or on the weekends, you'll see Barry running up and down the front straightaway. So in just a minute the tow truck gets to the scene and they'll be hooking onto that 82. And they'll get the chains hooked on the front end of that big Pontiac Le Mans, haul them out of there. As the field continues to motor around. And we'll be right back with some more action as soon as they get this cleaned up. Well, we were just about ready for a restart with Chris Johnson on the pole, and suddenly our second place car, the number 27 of Dale Cooley, came to a halt between 3 and 4. He's got the car fired up, so now he's going to fall into place. So you can see the white car of Dale Cooley now pulling in behind Chris Johnson. But we were all ready to go with the green flag, and suddenly Dale Cooley just no more go, and he shut her down in that 3rd turn. But we're fired back up, and they're coming around. They're going to be keeping an eye on our starter, Barry Davidson, as they go into that 3rd turn. Anytime between 3 and 4, they could get to green. And you can see the distance right there. That's Chris Johnson, 19 in your lead, and second is Dale Cooley. And Dale gets on the pedal before Chris. Comes off the 4th turn, but Mr. Johnson's going to hold on as we've now got 3 laps in. The field is strung out behind your leader. And into the 1st turn, and coming out of the 2nd turn, Chris Johnson continues with the lead about as he had it throughout this race. Just fast enough to stay in the lead, but not too much to run away with it. He's saving the car. Front end still plows a little bit. You can see the difference in handling between the 27 and the 19 as number 27 Cooley seems to have the car set up a little bit better in the turns, but Chris Johnson can power down the straightaways. And there's Mr. Johnson down the back chute again. As we watch him head into the 3rd turn, you can see that front end, and those front wheels will be turned all the way left, just like they are now, and that car continues to go straight. Now he swings the back end around. But Cooley in a 4-wheel power slide off of that turn, holds on to 2nd. Kevin Redshaw in the 7K looks like he's still 3rd. So the battle is up front. We got one car almost over the bank, and that's the 11D of Dave Van Mill. But Chris Johnson way down the back straight. Dale Cooley puts two wheels down in the infield, kicks up a little bit of dust, throws the car into the third turn, gets real high in the fourth turn, and he's going to have to hang on for second as Chris Johnson in number 19 will take the win in the second amateur heat. Kevin Redshaw in a 7K looks like he'll come in third, and that's the top three for the second heat of the amateur division. And the rest of the field will come around that fourth turn. Track conditions look real good tonight, and everything ought to be super for that big 50-lap feature coming up later in the modified feature. So here comes Chris Johnson one more time around. He thought that was fun. Last time he got the checkered flag. This time he's going to come around just for the ride. He'll pull that 19 into the pits, and we've got the cars coming out for the first heat of the Bombers in just a moment.
Serving your community, this is McLean Hunter Cable TV.
Well, we got the amateurs out on the track right now for their 15-lap, 15-minute time limit feature race. And we've got this as everybody's behind the pace car right now. All the amateur drivers lined up. The 7K is Ked Renshaw. 117, Steve Robbins. Steve Goodrunner. 12 is Mark Charnish. 19, Chris Johnson. 31 is Steve Collins. And the outside, that looks like the 32R of Mike McCauley. Then we move back to the 27 of Dale Cooley. One of the new cars here tonight. The 241 of Dennis Bernard. And on the outside of Dennis, we got the 11D of Dave Van Mill. The 82 of Bob Linston is behind that group of cars. 73 is new, of course, and 94 Greg Mulligan. Here they come. They got the white flag. So one more time around as they fall in behind the pace car. They don't want them to get too anxious. So Barry gives them the white flag, and they are all lined up right behind them. Good break for Kevin Redshaw in the 7K starting up front, but he's got Steve Robbins right on the inside. And Dale Cooley is back in the pack, so here we go. And the 7K of Redshaw wastes no time, like he's off and racing. They're telling him to slow that car down a little bit, but a real scattered start right now. They've got the green. So apparently everything was well enough to get going. So we've got the amateur feature underway. Clock's ticking, laps counting, and here they go into that back straightaway. Redshaw continues with the lead with Robbins and Chris Johnson. No time getting up front. Here comes Mark Charnish, and on the outside, the 33R. Faraday. So Faraday running strong. He's up into third now. So he and Mark Charnish are running for that third spot. Charnish has a little bit of an edge right now. There goes Faraday around on the outside. Takes the high road down the back straightaway. But that's the battle for the lead right now. The 7K of Redshaw. Way high, a little bit too high. Throws dirt all around. Gets it straightened out. Looks for the brake to get back into traffic. And that hands the lead right over to 19 of Chris Johnson. So there's Chris Johnson back up front. He's got Mark Charnish on the rear bumper. Joe Faraday. These are some guys that are fairly new to running up front in the feature. Right now, there they come. Off that third turn, fourth turn, down the front straightaway. 3 laps in. And we've got some cars bumping on the front straightaway. It's Greg Mulligan and Dennis Bernard in the 241, but they get them straightened around. But Mulligan continues to have problems hanging on to the steering wheel of that 94. So he may have bent something in that car in that little shunt there. But here comes Chris Johnson. He continues out front. The order remains the same up front. As down off the track goes our early leader, Redshaw. But there's Steve Robbins right now. Steve is running in the 4th spot with Dave Van Mill in the 5th. Traffic's starting to sort itself out. We got the lead pack of 3 cars up here in front, and we break back to another 3 group, and then the whole field is in the back. As we see this last time around, Steve Robbins in the 117 showing some signs of smoke out of that car. So we'll keep an eye on the 117 for you and see how that car is. As off the 4th turn comes Chris Johnson, and it looks like he may have some suspension trouble with that car, as the right front guy is awful low. Robbins just got clocked in the front end, and here come a couple more. It's Dale Cooley going off the bank, getting straightened around. And they've got themselves a parking lot set up there in the 4th turn, so we're going to have to drop the caution, get this sorted out. As they don't wait for the tow trucks, they just get those cars fired up and back underway. But Steve Robbins sits there watching traffic go by, as he's got the north end of a southbound car right there sitting backwards. And we have a replay of that accident. You can see it coming up right here, a little bit of a bump. And around they come. 24 pulls in. There goes Dale Cooley off the bank, but he gathered back up all right. You can see the last of the cars coming in. So everybody's fired up and back underway, with the exception of Steve Robbins. And like we said earlier, Steve looked like he was smoking a little bit, so he may have had engine trouble with that car, and could have been part of the problem. But the clock ticks. The laps are not counting right now under the caution. They want that car pushed into the infield, or the track, the rest of the cars move down. So this is going to tighten it up again, as Chris Johnson was strung out, and it was pretty much single file for those top 3 positions, but it brings him right back up again. And this is going to make a new race of it, as we've got 6 laps in, 9 to go. Well, they got Steve Robbins hooked up now. A little worse for wear in the right rear corner of that car. And there comes the field. And up front it continues to be some new cars up front, but with his restart, it allowed Dale Cooley in the 27 to pull up, so Dale Cooley's in 5th spot now with that number 27, Craig Mulligan in the 94. He's up in 6th. So one more time around they come.
Well, Granny and Red will come out. We'll stop the cars on the cross straightaway in this amateur feature.
Well, as they brought the red flag out now to stop the action while they clean up Steve Robbins' car, and we'll be right back with the conclusion of this amateur feature. Well, Chris Johnson apparently hurt his shoulder a little bit, so they're going to have him checked. They take a look at him quick, and the rest of the pack runs around the track to get ready to restart this race. No injury really, just he wanted it checked, felt a little uncomfortable, and everything's a-okay. So the field comes around the track. They're going to take the white flag one more time around. They're going to be back underway. 6 laps in. And starting up in the front row, That was Steve Robbins, rather. Steve Robbins injured his shoulder in that, and although he's okay, they just wanted to check him out real quick. Chris Johnson's your pole setter in the 19. Chris Johnson with Mark Charnish on the outside. Joe Faraday running third right now. There they go down the back straightaway. It's going to be Chris Johnson setting the pace. Gets on the pedal, comes off that turn. They've got the green, and they're coming 3 and 4 wide off that front straightaway. A little bit of bumping back in the pack. Everybody gets sorted out, and they all head into the first turn. And Mark Charnish now in that number 12 is taken off with the lead. Chris Johnson lost it on a restart at about the halfway point. Dave Van Mill in the 11D comes up there, and Chris Johnson's in a little bit deep, but fights for control and brings it back around, and he's okay, so he stays in second place. But up in fourth place right now and challenging for third is the 27 of Dale Cooley. So Dale Cooley, who took a couple weeks vacation, has come back and has wasted no time. He's really motoring now. He's now fighting with Chris Johnson for that second spot. But Cooley gets a little bit high, has to get on the binders. You can see the front end of the car dive a little bit. Runs it right off the track, keeping going. Keeps the momentum up, down the front straightaway goes. Charnish gets a little bit squirrely in that second turn, but Cooley's upstairs. He's got Chris Johnson in front of him. Now Cooley comes down low. Chris Johnson goes sideways. Dale Cooley throws it sideways to try and get down into that lower groove. Keep it down there, and the rest of the field starts to sort themselves out again. But now Dale Cooley has got the inside groove working, and he's now pulled past Chris Johnson. And he's starting to reel in the leader, Mark Charnish. Cooley really making that black and white Chevelle fly around the fourth turn. And into the first turn they go, and he's going to be working all over Mark Charnish in just a second. As Chris Johnson continues in third, Faraday is fourth, Dave Van Mill is running the top 5. And your real battle up front here now. There's only 5 laps left in this race. Mark Charnish has got his hands full now as he's got Dale Cooley behind him. And we got a couple cars coming together up there in the first turn, and they're sitting sideways. One of the new ones, the number 73, and Greg Mulligan was the other one involved, but Mulligan pulls away under his own power. 73's fired up, back rolling again. And everything's all squared away, everything's okay, so we're running again. Caution's out, that's going to bring them back up again. They'll all have to go single file again. 12 laps in, 3 to go. Chris Johnson held the lead for the first 6 laps, then lost it to Mark Charnish. And then the charging Dale Cooley came up through, so that leaves Chris Johnson running third right now with Faraday in fourth and Brown 33R. Dave Van Mill up in the fifth, good run for that 11D car. Mulligan falls back in the pack. One of the stronger runs for the Joe Faraday car 33R. As they get ready to take the green again, and Barry's waving a green flag, they're back underway. And the rear tires are really jumping on that number 12. As he heads into the turn, he may have a broken shock on that car, because we've noticed the handling has gone away on it. He can't quite hold it in the turns like he was at the beginning of the race. And there goes Dale Cooley. Now he's going to try the high road around Mark Charnish. You can see Mark's got those wheels turned all the way, and watch that right rear tire just bounce around inside the wheel opening. It could be a tough break for Charnish, as the car seems to be breaking apart in the rear end a little bit, and that's letting the whole pack catch up. There comes Dale Cooley. Now Chris Johnson's moved in. They all smell the injury to the car of Mark Charnish. So everybody comes in now. They're all going to start working all over him. You can see that rear axle hopping around in that car. And you can watch him as he goes into the turn. The car just does not set properly around the turn. It's Van Mill and Joe Faraday now fight it out, and we're in a white flag lap. This is the last time around, so if Dale Cooley's going to do it, he's going to have to do it up here. Mark Charnish is hanging on for all he's worth right now. That rear end hopping around inside that car down the front straightaway they go, and he's able to hang on for the win. So Mark Charnish in the number 12 picks up the win. Second's going to be Dale Cooley. Third is going to be Chris Johnson. Fourth is going to be the 33-hour Joe Faraday. And that, of course, is all unofficial right now. So here comes your feature winner, the number 12 of Mark Charnish. And he'll step down to victory lane. He may take the flag around for one more trip. So there's your winner as he unbuckles his helmet and gets ready to crawl out of that car. And he really had to work to hang on to that. So there you get a good look at Mark Charnish, who, like we said, really had his hands full. And he goes out to check the temperature of the tires and make sure they're warm, but I'm sure he really warmed the tires up in that, as he took himself a feature win tonight. Mark, who's been out here week in and week out. Well, earlier in the evening, we had a chance to meet one of the drivers here at Merrittville. We had the opportunity to talk with 37-year veteran Bill Teresi.